Well, good morning, everybody. Here we are reading through Ezra, chapters 1, 2, and 3. This was a difficult time. You've got to remember that Israel was a nation made of 12 tribes that came from the son, or 12 sons of Abraham, not Abraham, sorry, of Israel, 12 sons of Israel. And when they came out of Egypt, there was about 1 million of them, thereabouts, counting everybody. There's about 1 million. When they crossed into the promised land, it was about 1 million. And they prospered, they grew as Yahweh had promised that they would, and they numbered in the tens of millions. They were really big. Then Assyria attacked Israel because the Lord allowed it. The Lord had to destroy those tribes because they had become more wicked than the lands they had displaced, or the nations they had displaced. They were assimilated. They just disappeared. They were gone. Um, and then there remained two tribes that were left of the 12. Judah and Benjamin. Benjamin was the smallest. Judah was the largest of the nations, the most powerful. Sorry, of the tribes, not the nations. And they formed a king, which adhered to David's throne. But they too were attacked. And they were given promises that they would be brought back, and they were taken into captivity in Babylon. But you got to understand that instead of millions going into captivity, um, there was tens of thousands. That's all that was left. Tens of thousands of them went into captivity. But those who went into captivity actually prospered, and they grew, and they multiplied. And so I'm not sure how many would have actually been in Babylon. And then out of the blue, bang! It wasn't out of the blue because it was a result of Daniel's prayer. Daniel had discovered the prophecy in Jeremiah about the 70 years, and he began to pray. And as he prayed, the word went out. And it was X number of days after the word went out, then suddenly Cyrus is declaring that the Lord told him to build him a temple in Jerusalem. And he invited any Jew who wanted to go to take part in this. And they got all the riches from their neighbors, gave them riches and stuff, and off they went. But there were only tens of thousands of them that went, under 50,000. Under 50,000 of them returned. Okay, this was a nation that had numbered in the tens of millions. Imagine the slaughter that they experienced. And here there was under 50,000 that returned to build the temple. You got to understand, when they originally built the temple, it was Solomon. Solomon had all his fathers, all of David's riches. He had his own that he added to it, plus the elders of Israel would have contributed. It was a very rich nation at that time, and they built this magnificent. And apparently, it was to this day the world's most expensive building. Ornate, just wow. And there would be those who would remember the magnificence of that building. So what is under 50,000 people going to do compared to a nation of tens of millions with rich kings and all such things? What can they do? So they laid the foundation. And then when people remembered what they used to have, how many there used to be, what their nation used to be, they cried. And those who had not experienced that saw this as something fantastic, and there were shouts of praise and worship. The two were mingled, so that they were one cry. And sometimes this is where we are in when we experience loss. This is what happens to us. We have this thing that remembers what we had, and then we have the part of us that is so thankful that we still have something, that we still have, that, when we lose a loved one, that we're still surrounded by people who love us, but there's that part of us that cries, and there's a part of us that rejoices, and a part of us that cries, and a part of us rejoices. This is the weird human experience that we have in this fallen world. We experience loss, and we experience thanksgiving, and the cry can mingle. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay when we experience loss to feel grief. Nobody has to pretend anything. Our Father doesn't ask us to pretend. He understands our grief. He does. That's why the word says, mourn with those who mourn, and celebrate with those who celebrate. These are the seasons we move through. So if you're in that place right now where you are experiencing both rejoicing and mourning, we stand with you. We understand. We love you. Dad loves you. And you're going to get through. Love you guys. Let's come alongside those who need that shoulder. God bless.